How are these people that can do things only a tenth of 1% or less of the people in the whole world are able to do? How would they accept a little boy that can't even walk?
The day after our 10th wedding anniversary, we found out we were pregnant. And we were very excited, and things were going along, very normal. All the doctor appointments had been going really well. And then I got really sick, and I had something called Haemophilus influenza. And they had started me on a course of antibiotics, but I just wasn't getting any better. And then my water broke almost 2 months early. Frank was the first one to go into the NICU with Shaun. And before I had even had the opportunity to really see him, the doctors had come in to tell us that he also tested positive for Haemophilus influenza and that he'd also had a brain hemorrhage.
They did a spinal tap just because they wanted to check for the presence, I think, of bacteria in the spinal fluid, and that's when they noticed there was some blood in the spinal fluid, and that was a big warning flag. And so when they took some x-rays to see what was going on, that's when it started to become clear that he had a brain bleed.
Unfortunately, within a few days, Shaun was having a difficult time. He wasn't doing very well. And the doctors decided it was time to move him down to Children's Hospital Los Angeles. The night before they transferred him, they told us to bring our families with us to see him. And we really weren't sure if Shaun was going to be there in the morning. Once we were down at Children's Hospital, Shaun was stabilized and at 21 days of life had his first brain surgery. It was incredibly stressful, and as soon as he had that shunt placed and the pressure on his brain subsided, we were finally able to take a breath and exhale. We could finally start thinking about what it would be like to bring Shaun home. Shaun was in the NICU for about 7 weeks, and he was born 10 weeks premature, so he actually got to come home a couple weeks shy of his original due date. When we first brought Shaun home, things were fairly normal. I mean, I think we were concerned about all the normal things that parents are concerned about, making sure he had plenty of food, making sure he was warm enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, at least the first few months we weren't overly worried. I would say probably at least 5 months, and I think we were already behind. We really hadn't hit some of those kind of key milestones that would have been expected. And even initially leaving the hospital, I was asking, well, when do we get to start physical therapy? When do we get to start occupational therapy? Because we knew that due to the brain hemorrhage that Shaun had had, that there was the chance that he could have cerebral palsy or some other type of complication. As he got older, I think I was still in a sense of disbelief when we hit 1 and we weren't walking. We weren't really rolling over at that point either, and that's kind of when we heard about Napa Center. I called down there and was able to get him scheduled into an intensive, which is a 3-week therapy program where the kids go as little as 1 hour a day up to like 6 hours a day. And so for Shaun, being his first time down there, I think he was about 18 months old by the time we finally got down there, and he did 3 hours a day. The amazing thing was, at the end of that 3-week intensive, he rolled over. He could roll over all by himself, and that was amazing. So we decided to go back. And you've completed since then, I think it's like 12 intensives. And you're gonna go back and do your 13th this summer.
Wow.
As Shaun's gotten bigger, he's needed the assistance of equipment to get around. So the first big piece of equipment that we got was a wheelchair, of course, which led to a gait trainer so he can walk around a little bit, which he enjoys walking through the stores, at the park, participating in kids runs in his gait trainer. Another way we get him out is with his therapy trike. And so it just looks like a regular tricycle, but it does have some adaptation to help him and for us to help him. We can steer it if we need to. And it just gives him a little bit more seating support. A few years ago, Shaun had his first muscle release surgery, and we'd flown to Texas, and we were coming back, and we were concerned about maybe that surgery wasn't going to last a particularly long time. And so our physical therapist at our California Children's Services had said, well, I know somebody who does Graston and myofascial stretch. And so we met Lee and we had a session with her to see how it would go. And she and Shaun just really clicked and got along really well. And so she's been working with him for about 4 years now.
My name is Dr. Lee Scarber, she, her pronouns, and I'm a physical therapist and co-owner of Ascent Wellness in Ventura, California. And I'm a founding board member for Runners for Public Lands. I've been working with Shaun for 4 years now as part of his incredible therapy team.
The wonderful things that Lee does for Shaun, improving the muscle release, the physical things, but also how encouraging, happy, uplifting, cheerful, those things that help build him into a really wonderful little person and to feel good about himself and who he is, I think is just as important. It's just transformative to have that much of a positive input into Shaun's life. Absolutely transformative, and we're so grateful to have Lee's help with Shaun's life.
Over the years, we've talked logistics for many trail runs, remote mountain locations for camping, search and rescue capabilities, and most importantly to Shaun, the food planning for the trips. Shaun dreams of being in the mountains, and he loves talking shop about getting out on the trails. But until recently, he was unable to access the trails. Shaun's dad, who is an engineer and avid backpacker, changed everything when he developed the trail wheelchair rig for him.
One of the things we noticed early on about all the different pieces of equipment was that there's a wonderful array of different adaptations and ways you can adjust them and things for as your child grows and all their different needs and such. So the downside of that is a lot of these things are really heavy. It was up to us if we wanted to bring Shaun out on trails and to the beach and things like that. We had to come up with an idea for our own. One of the breakthroughs there is that every so many years when you get the new chairs, like every 4 or 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah. Well, we got an old chair and we said, well, okay, this is our opportunity. Let's customize it, let's strip it down, make it light, and let's put wheels on it that are made to do fun stuff, not necessarily just to get back and forth to school.
I saw new colors in your eyes, a world so vibrant and alive, like fireflies.
Then there was the search of how do we make this chair meet the needs, and the biggest need was to keep it light, keep it rugged, and something that we can treat like a kid, have fun with it, and something we didn't have to worry about if something broke, we had to fix it. So we were very fortunate to find some nice off-road tires that would allow them to take it to the beach. And
snow.
And snow, we've taken to the snow. The snow was the funnest, huh?
Where have we taken your hiking chair?
They're Gordo, Sespe, Lone Pine.
Set fires across the deep. Your eyes lit up the depths of me, and you are my morning light.
Just after Frank had made the hiking wheelchair, and we'd of course been telling Lee about it, she said, "Oh, you know, I've heard about this new event called Born to Adapt. I think you guys should consider coming and signing up for it." And we said, "Yeah, you know, I think we'd like to do that." She came back to me in one of Shaun's sessions and said, "Runners for Public Lands wants to sponsor Shaun."
Runners for Public Lands is an environmental nonprofit based in Ventura, California. We build inclusive running communities dedicated to protecting the environment. We are committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we protect the people and the places we love by organizing runners for climate action, sustainability practices, protecting public lands, and equitable access to nature. Shaun is one of the most inspiring kids I've ever met, and we wanted to sponsor his first race entry at the inaugural Born to Adapt race. Born to Adapt is the brainchild of pro adaptive athlete Zach Friedley and race director Luis Escobar. Born to Adapt was held for the first time as part of the larger event Born to Run in Los Olivos, California in April 2022. Zach and Luis intentionally created a space where adaptive athletes were not only welcome, but this event was specifically curated by an adaptive athlete for adaptive athletes and individuals with disabilities to come together as a community, celebrate and run with a true sense of belonging.
For Lee to be the first person to take him up that course and back was really meaningful, just because she's been so involved in his life these last 4 years.
Thing ever. Oh my God. It's just so cool to see him out there.
Thank you for being a part of it.
Oh, he's so amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Is he just having a blast?
He's having so much fun.
Great.
Seeing him, you know, have that goal of being able to get on the trails and seeing him out here doing his first trail race is amazing. I mean, I'm obviously just so overcome with emotion, you know, seeing him out here, and he was saying how special it was to have it be his first trail race. It's just amazing.
Seeing Shaun at Born to Adapt is something I will never forget, and I don't think any of the people that were there will forget it either. Shaun has been dreaming about his first trail race for a long time, and seeing the community rally around him to help him realize his dream raised the vibration of the whole place. He is so special, and with every fist pump and every declaration of which mile he was on, it became even more clear why it is so important for events to be inclusive of all athletes, regardless of physical ability, race, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. Because Shaun's parents created the necessary adaptive equipment and Zach and Lewis created this event, not only did his dreams come true, but they truly started a movement. And because they shifted the paradigm, we can only rise from here.
10 miles, right? In the end, there's all these great stories about the bells without anybody doing it.
Watching Lee inspires me to do more races. When other kids see me racing, hopefully it'll inspire them.
Like that?
My favorite part of the race today was all the people helping me.
Did it together, dude. Right? Fist bump. Right on.
Runners for Public Land, they care about the environment, they care about access for everyone. All of the positive things that they believe in are things that we want for our child, you know, that as a good little citizen, a steward of this world.
We at RPL have been so inspired by athletes like Shaun that we wanted to start a scholarship program called Everyone Runs Fund. Everyone Runs will be money allocated to support individuals of all backgrounds and abilities that may be facing barriers to getting to races or events. This would cover race entries, costs for trips to races, and lodging. Runners would apply for the program, and each year we could pick 3 to 4 runners to receive these funds. This is something that we're still working on, and we can't wait to share it with you. Thank you so much for supporting us, athletes like Shaun, and a sense of belonging and equitable access to trails.
And it was just so meaningful to me that everybody was so nice. They went off Born to Run to go to Born to Adapt, which was really meaningful to me. And thank you for Lee, Runners for Public Lands, for sponsoring